All right, welcome back. We just went through a moderately, I would say, complete lesson. I mean, there's a lot of ggplot that we can't possibly cover in two lessons or three lessons or whatever. There's an entire honestly, there's an entire book about how ggplot works. As in the previous lesson, there's some links there to help you understand more about ggplot. This lesson, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video in terms of the how much the lesson covers versus how much the video covers. The lesson has a lot of examples in it that I'm going to leave for you to read on your own time and for you to play with on your own time and practice. I particularly just want to kind of give some highlights to some important things in this lesson that do need to be discussed. So first of all, this is we're going to use a different data set. So this one is the first year GPA data set is from the stat to data package. And so as you probably remember, in order to install a package, we use the command install.packages. Then we put the package name in quotes. And then to load the package, that's where the library command comes in. Now, this is the first time that we've loaded multiple libraries all at once, but I want you to see here, though, that the tidyverse comes last. And the reason for this is because our packages follow a last in, first out rule, if you will, that whenever R is trying to figure out, well, what do you mean when you say ggplot? Like, you've typed this command ggplot, where am I supposed to go find it? It's going to look through, number one, the first package that you just loaded. Then it will look through the package that you loaded before that, then the package before that, then the package before that, all the way down until it gets to the point where it's looking through base R. So base R, it's base because it's like a base, it's like a foundation that the other packages build on top of. And so R, whenever it's looking to try to figure out what code you just typed and how do I interpret it, it starts at the top and it works its way down through all of the packages that you have loaded and so forth. So if you want, I think that you almost always want the tidyverse to be loaded last so that it can be the package that sits on top of all of the others. There's one other instance where this is not true, and that's when using something called the tidy models package suite, which if you take the second semester, the computing and computational, like health computing, I can't even remember what the name of the class is, but it's the more computational statistical machine learning focused class in R that we have. That one you will be using tidy models a little bit, and so you would load the tidy models package suite, and then you would load the tidyverse package suite, and then you would load everything else. So i.e., you would reverse it, and that would be the last code that you type. So tidy models would be the library tidy models would be the last code you type, then library tidyverse would be the code right before that, and then other packages going forward, going up the chain. So anyway, just load the tidyverse last. It will prevent problems. And if you remember a few videos back, we talked about how we did a Google search for the select function, and we kept getting these hits about people that had loaded the mass package instead of the dplyr package, and it was causing problems. That's all based on the fact that they need to load the tidyverse last. So anyway, here's a little snapshot of the data. There's another function here that you haven't seen before. This is called glimpse, and it's just going to give you like a little snapshot of the data. And it's kind of like when we had printed a tibble, we see here are the columns. Notice here, though, that this is transposed. There's 219 rows and 10 columns, but notice the columns are actually displayed as rows as the output of this glimpse function. So that's just something to be aware of. When you use the glimpse function, it actually transposes your data just so that you can look at it a little bit better. It's not actually transposing the data as far as where the data is in R. The data still hasn't been touched, but for you to look at it a little bit better, it transposes it first. So I'm going to skip through. No, I do need to talk about this. Here's one of the things that you can do that I haven't talked about so far in ggplot, and that is you can actually save a ggplot plot as an object. So when I do this, I always add underscore GG to the end of the name so that I know I'm dealing with a ggplot object. Then if you want to display the ggplot, you just call the name of the object and it will print the plot. This sounds kind of dumb when you first hear about it, but it offers a lot of flexibility in regards that you could build a single base plot and then add different components to it and make totally different graphs one way or the other by adding layers onto that plot. So anyway, we've already talked about the axes and the titles and so forth. Read through all of this, practice all of this. I'm going to skip to the section on colors. Okay, so I am usually very bad about this. I'm usually happy, like, oh yeah, I'll use R's default colors. And I had the most patient saint of a student one year, a few years ago, and she could not really see colors. She had a particular type of color blindness that it made it difficult to see. I can't remember which colors it was, but there would be times that I'd be going through, I'd be talking about my lesson, and you're like, okay, as you can see from the line of code right here, it's in purple, and she'd raise her hand like, Dr. Odom, I can't see that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh no, I forgot again. And I kept forgetting and I kept forgetting. Like it was like almost every week I would do something that she could not see. She ended up doing very well in the class, despite me, being a complete buffoon in terms of helping her out. But this is where I was like, okay, I have absolutely got to get better at this. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not great at it. But I am including a section here in this lesson on colorblind friendly color palettes. And this is where I'm going to tell you students, do as I say, not as I do. So all of your graphs, unless I call for a specific color, palette, I want you to be using colorblind friendly color palettes. And just get in the habit of making sure that your figures are colorblind friendly. Even if I am bad at this, I want you all, my students, to be better than me. Okay, so remember to make sure that your color palettes for your figures are colorblind friendly. And one of the ways that we can do this is with the Viridis package. So Viridis has a function called scale color Viridis. And you can specify, and this is something that we had talked about earlier, where sometimes the data, if it tries to interpret discrete data as continuous, you get that weird blue scale, like dark blue to light blue. You can actually set an argument here to say that this is actually discrete. And so right here, here's another thing to think about. Well, this might be an exercise. Yeah, no. This is here. So again, I had mentioned in the last lesson about being careful that you don't overwrite one lesson or one line of ggplot code with another line of ggplot code. And we get a message right here that there's a scale for color that's already present. So we have scale color discrete, where I say that the name of the scale is sex, the labels are female and male, and the value for female is 0, the value for male is 1. Because in the data, it was originally coded as just zeros or ones, but that's not helpful. We need to know, are they males or females in terms of understanding the data. But notice I had a scale for color, and then I added another scale for color. And then I get a message from ggplot that says this will, if you have one scale for color and then another scale for color, whatever scale for color comes later is going to overwrite the scale for color that came previously. Okay. And so that's why this does not say sex. It does not say female and male. It has as underscore factor male 0 and 1. Okay. And that's because the code where I had fixed this is overwritten here. Okay, so be attentive to your layers and make sure your layers aren't overriding each other. Oh yeah, and I have this. Notice the message. This means that this scale will overwrite this scale. All right. And so here's some code. I rebuilt this figure. This time I took the information, all of this mapping out of scale color discrete, and then I added it to the scale color Viridis. And we have right here, and then I added a comment to say why I didn't include breaks 0, 1. And anyway, hopefully you learn a little bit from this. So this is a scale for colors. You could also pick some colors. You can set the colors manually and say, well, I want these colors. Okay. And where I want females to be gray and I want males to be orange for whatever reason. Maybe I'm dealing with a question where males are at a higher risk for this particular disease or something, and so I want to see that the males pop for whatever reason. And so I could add like a more vibrant color for one group than for another. And oh, so here's something to think about. Okay, really just go through this entire lesson. So this is the lesson 4 supplement, and I want you to type everything out. I want you to really go through it and make sure that you learn this stuff. Learn as much as you can. We've got basically like about 2 weeks on ggplot because it's that important. Here's some other palettes. There is a package called R Color Brewer, and it has so many beautiful color palettes that you can choose from. And the way that we see this is there's a command, the function display.brewer.all, and that will show us all these different color palettes that we can choose from. And then here, this is great. This is the magic right here, display.brewer.all, and we're going to set an argument to say, I only want colorblind friendly color palettes. So these are the ones that you really need to be choosing from right here. Okay. All righty then. So that's basically, I think that's all that I want to talk about here. Oh, one more thing, and I'll skip ahead to themes. So this is the base plot. And you remember that it was a lot of times it was just like this gray background. We can change this using themes. But what I want to get to though is that you can use themes from different journal styles, or in this case, you can use the APA theme, and it's out of the JTools package. So this is now adherent to the APA manual as of 2022. And as long as they update the JTools package, then it will be current to whatever the current APA standards are. Similarly, depending on what journal that I want to go to, if I want to go to the Wall Street Journal, there's another package out there that will help me get a figure that looks like it fits in the Wall Street Journal. And this is another theme, using theme WSJ for Wall Street Journal. And then, so this is the one for The Economist, also from the GG themes package. So this is important to know. Like, you can find themes based on if you look at a journal and you're trying to say, okay, well, I need to submit to this journal or to this publication, I can go find a theme that matches that. Alrighty then. So again, there's a whole bunch in here. These are some really, really great examples for you to see. I want you to go through, work through these examples, but don't just copy and paste them. Actually type them out and get used to fingers on the keyboard. And the next lesson will be all about RStudio projects. So we will see you next time.